Einen wunderschönen guten Abend und herzlich willkommen zum nächsten Livestream hier im Buddies VR Lounge. Trotz kleiner Startprobleme. Microsoft wollte wieder nicht, dass ich den Unreal Engine VR Injector Mod starte. Musste wieder alles deaktivieren, damit der läuft. Muss ich mal gucken, der löscht immer eine DLL ganz gerne. Dann muss man die immer wieder herstellen. Aber das sind ja Kleinigkeiten für uns, ne? Ich wollte mal was ausprobieren. Heute mit euch. Ja, einfach mal eine andere Dings nehmen. Da geht jetzt mal erstmal, also eine andere 3D-Art, sage ich jetzt mal, auswählen. Geht erst, aber erstmal begrüße ich mal die Leute im Chat. Das ist einmal der Roman, der Kerbiskörn, Öl-Dealer und der Walker 81. Und da geht mal für euch hier die Hand hoch und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß. Lippet lang und erfolgreich. Willkommen im Buddies VR Lounge und das 7 Commander. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Freue mich riesig. Muss ich mal gucken, wo wieder hier das Spiel ist. Das Spiel? Ah, da haben wir die Option. Ja, wunderbar. Hier wollte ich noch was umstellen. Ja, ja. Ja. Dann lassen wir erstmal das. Gucken wir uns das nochmal an. Spiel. Schiff. Oh. Geht's weiter. Folge 2 von Star Trek Resurgence.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain. Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left.
Ah, den Rest kann ich manuell machen. Okay. Geht das? Ah, okay. Oh, perfekt, ne? Ich hab's drauf.
I've located the shuttle. Opening comms.
So, den Chat mal hier auch besser positionieren. Ja, machen wir gleich. Moment. Das ist mein Chat. Mein Chat geht vor. So, Thomas ist ebenfalls mit dabei. Da geht auch für den Thomas die Hand hoch und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß. Liebe lang und erfolgreich. Willkommen im Buddies VR Lounge. Ebenfalls du, Mr. RZ und so 7 Commanders. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Freue mich riesig. So, dann. Ja, wie gesagt, wollte erst der Unreal Engine VR Injector Mod nicht. Deswegen hat das ein bisschen gedauert, bis ich soweit eigentlich vorbereitet bin, wie ich eigentlich sein möchte. So, das Thema ausmachen, das Fenster. Dann wieder ins Spiel rein, dann wieder den Chat nach oben und dann wieder ins Spiel rein, genau. Ist auch ganz simpel, ne?
Shuttle to Resolute.
Ja.
Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
Traktorstrahl!
It's just not happening.
Der Traktorstrahl. Ja, dankeschön. Echt. Man kann hier alles sagen. Oh, was ist der denn?
Diaz,
Ah.
you good to run the tractor emitter? Yes, sir. You sure? I'm sure. Come on, Diaz. First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
Ja, machen wir mal. Mit. So, da haben wir Shuttle, ja. Und L. Richtig. Perfekt. Traktorstrahl ausgerichtet, Captain.
We're pulling in debris. I'm on it.
Den Abschluss, also Phaser würde ich vorschlagen, ne? Ja, macht ein bisschen Staub, ne? Also, ich muss hier mit. Nein, 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 nein. Ich muss hier drin bleiben, alles klar. Darf ich eh nochmal machen. jetzt habe ich es gerafft. Erneut versuchen. So, jetzt nochmal.
We're pulling in debris. I'm on it.
Erstmal den hier was weg. Mit dem jetzt fertig werden. Dann den anderen. Am besten den gegen den hauen. Das wird gut aus. Jawohl! Nein, wo kommt der denn her? Aber das müsste nichts machen. Ja, sehr gut. Ey, so ein großer?
It's gonna take out the shuttle.
Ja, ach, ehrlich.
There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
Okay, wir sollen es jetzt... Den nach Speeden, genau. Das denn gehen? Alter. Okay.
Here we go. Maneuvering.
Weiß ich nicht, ob das jetzt so gut war.
200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Warum haben denn die Transporter nicht funktioniert?
Got
Der
it.
ist schon gerammt.
Whoa. Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Ja. Jetzt. Oh. Coole Mechanik. Also das ist Star Trek, ne? Ich würde sagen, haben sie schön. Ja, also ich muss noch mal hier was ändern. Das hier? Wenn das besser ist.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Können wir mal Auflösung auch noch erhöhen können. Oh, Botschafter Spock.
So to speak.
Ambassador Spock.
Alter, wie langsam geht denn der? Komm, mach. Das ist nur ein alter Vulkanier. Stell dich mal nicht so an.
The captain will be right down.
Also, stellt der sich vor Botschafter Spock. Komm mal mit. Wie steht ein Spock da? Alter. Das ist nicht mal leger. Willkommen an Bord, ja.
Wow. Let me be the first to say, welcome to the Resolute, Ambassador.
Thank you, Petty Officer.
Carter? Carter Diaz. Sir.
I am pleased to meet you, Petty Officer Carter.
Einmal lauter. So. Ist ja schon. Warte mal. So. Dann bleibt Stärke. So.
Diaz. It appears I have you to thank for my safe arrival.
Excelsior.
Your assistance arrived not a moment too soon, if I may say so.
Well, it wasn't all me. I got some help from upstairs.
A bombastic approach to
Warte
clearing
mal, vielleicht
debris.
kriegen wir das noch. Schön hin alles. Warte mal. Oh, ich muss hier antworten. Oder?
But it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
Warte mal.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we
konnten keinen
could
Warp
not
erreichen.
achieve warp at all. Even though our diagnostics computer
Tom ist
showed
ebenfalls dabei.
no
Begrüß dich
faults
gleich
or
richtig.
anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further
Spock sieht echt gut
investigation
aus.
is called for.
We'll take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks.
Pause, dann ist dann Pause. Ja, wunderbar. Dann kann ich hier mal kurz unterbrechen und mal die Einstellung checken.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer Diaz.
Sieht schon egal aus.
Thank you.
Ambassador Spock.
Warte mal. Guck mal, ob noch ein bisschen was geht. So. 1,5. Aber probieren, ne? Wieder überstudieren. Sind wir ganz mal Entdecker hier, ne? Mal Carter. Ja. Und das Carter vorlaut und hochmütig war. Also, hm. Ah ne, das war der hier, genau. Spock, was sagt der? Botschafter Spock glaubt, dass Carter lieber Ingenieur bleiben sollte und die Verwendung des Zeitverstandszuges vermeiden sollte. Und er hatte den Eindruck, dass Carter ein Teamplayer ist. Ja, das ist schön. Cool. Stellte, genau, war dankbar. Ja, und die, ne, das ist ja schon eine Love Story hier, ne? Mit der hier, mit Petty Offizier Maris. Und der, klar, da konnte man nichts mehr ändern. Hier sieht es auch sehr gut aus eigentlich, ne? Ja. Komm, machen wir jetzt mal weiter hier.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it.
Viele
We're already behind.
LODs auch zwischendurch, aber ist trotzdem richtig nice. Es geht ja schon wieder so komisch. Boah, die sieht gut aus jetzt, die Resolute. Jo, das sieht jetzt richtig schön scharf aus alles, ne?
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff.
Spock sieht jetzt richtig gut aus. Ja, die anderen auch. Was haben die für eine komische Handbewegung?
It's not every day that a captain gets to
Hände haben
welcome
sie
a
nicht so drauf
Starfleet
gehabt.
legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend
Ich wollte mal Tom richtig begrüßen, ne? Und wie er meint ebenfalls dazu bekommen. Und dann gehen wir mal für euch hier die Hand hoch und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß. Lippet lang, erfolgreich willkommen im Buddies VR Lounge und das Seven Commanders. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Freue mich riesig. So, was habt ihr geschrieben? So. Jetzt sind wir ja schön drin. Es riecht verbrannt nach 4090. Nee, die verbrennt nix. So.
implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present
Deswegen ich liebe
circumstances.
hier und jetzt.
I
Also,
mean to suggest.
die Charaktergesichter sehen jetzt so richtig geil aus.
You're right, Ambassador. Not the most
Brauchen ihre
diplomatic choice of
Erfahrung.
words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed. And the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Elydia and Hotari. Elydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illidians have shared a mining operation there. The Illidians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace. Until recently, the Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illidians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the mines against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace, and one that I hope we can uncover during these negotiations. But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Illidian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
We can call it profitable or mutually beneficial, but at the end of the day, the Hotari are still being exploited for their own resources.
True peace is not merely the absence of war. And as such, this conflict will surely come again.
Neither the Illidians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Illidians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Illidium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Illidian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past.
If it's keeping the two sides talking instead of shooting at each other, that actually helps us negotiate a peace.
And we'll take advantage of that as long as it works in our favor.
And when it doesn't?
All the more reason to learn as much about it as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught unprepared, should the energy anomaly continue to fluctuate. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
Nice.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador.
Ich drehe das noch ein bisschen runter. Ah, warte mal, hier war das Mod-Menü. Ein bisschen hoch, ne? Also, 1.3. Dürfte doch schon.
Mr. Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case. It would be unconventional.
I'm perfectly happy to work outside the lines.
And by extension, you will be doing your duty, Commander.
Just not too far outside the lines. Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Schön. Ach, jetzt weiß ich, was ich vergessen habe. Kopfhörer anzuziehen. Deswegen. Alles klar.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him.
Typisch Vulkaner.
Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with.
The Ambassador asked me to take a look, and I'm ready to crack this thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
Even Chovok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking.
You've pulled me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Okay. At the very least, maybe I can track down that bottle of Saurian brandy you're still on the hook for. But first, we have work to do.
Ja, da kommen die Konsolen aus dem Boden, ne? Ist doch praktisch. Mit Verkabelung, mit Verkabelung.
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Ich dass ich noch Kabel brauche, ne? So. Bewegen. Ja. That's a nice Star Trek like.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda. She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Ah, schade. Also wäre schön gewesen, wenn die vielleicht auch ein bisschen eifersüchtig wären, ne? Ansonsten, wenn halt verschiedene Crewmitglieder untereinander Gefühle hegen, ne, sage ich immer, sollen sie halt zusammen nachgehen, ne? Wir sind ja schon, ne, ja schon im 24. Jahrhundert oder so. Ich weiß nicht, was sie gesagt haben, mir nicht gepasst.
Why are you even going there? We haven't even gone on a date yet.
I just want you to know where I stand. I like my friends and I like our group. I don't want to lose them.
Ja, ich mag die auch, die Gruppe.
Is that thing done yet?
Das ist beide toll. So.
Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Ach, jetzt soll ich nochmal hier ran. Zack.
Here.
Ah, guck mal, hier kommen die Daten.
About 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Ja, die Flat-Entwickler. Bewegen. Ja, wo soll ich denn antippen? Ah, hier, genau.
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
Ah, okay.
This happened when the center warp coil crashed.
Cracked warp
Natürlich, wenn die
coil
Spule
throws vault
reißt.
code.
Still, we should take a look.
Ja, gucken wir mal.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow.
Oh, komplett
You're lucky the
ausgefallen.
shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Ah, da. Ja. Nee. So.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
Das bedeutet, so
The main
kaum, was
navigation
er gesagt
array
hat, das
lost sight of
bedeutet das.
space somehow.
Would
Genau.
the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code.
Ich mag ja, also
Any one of
Trills
these
finde ich super.
failures should have thrown a fault.
Ich,
If it was caused by a
haben,
system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
Ich nehme das Navigationssystem.
I'll check the navigation array.
Okay. Alter. Wie geht's dir? Gucken, was dein Herz sagt. Anscheinend, mal gucken, gute Werte. Ja, du bist gesund. Das ist doch mal schon was Nettes, ne? Das ist, finde ich, ganz gut. Guck mal hier. Tiefenscan, ja. Benutze während des Tiefenscan LB und RB, um zwischen verschiedenen Scan-Modi hin und her zu wechseln und nach leuchtenden Objekten zu suchen. Alle Objekte gescannt, nennt sich die Farbe des Rahmens. Halte LT gedrückt, um die Daten zu analysieren. Geil, das ist richtig cool mit dem Tricorder. Finde ich echt nice. Das ist schon gemacht. Oh, ich glaube, das X nicht. LT? Hier ist hier, ne? Ja.
Navigation array checks out, so it must be a coil.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Sind wir im? Ja. Ah, da ist er ja.
Hey.
I'm not here.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Come on, I'm never too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No. But I am glad you came by.
No, that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
You don't want to miss your train.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on my mind.
Oh. Ach, guck mal, da haben sich tatsächlich ein bisschen die Lippen
That
bewegt.
was nice.
Yeah.
Also bin ich.
Was?
Ganz nett, ne? Bin auch ein netter Typ.
For when I get back.
Natürlich.
You've got a deal.
Mal gucken, vielleicht bring ich dann noch einen Drill mit.
Be seeing you.
Und jetzt nicht gerade da auf der. Naja, egal. Gut. Haben wir für unsere Beziehung gemacht hier, ne?
Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go.
Ja. Vielleicht kriege ich das ja hin mit beiden.
So,
Das wäre doch ganz
warp coils
nett.
and the navigation array are fine, but the nav
Dann sind doch alle
computer
glücklich.
doesn't
Was meint ihr?
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
Würdet ihr euch das wünschen, dass
You
ihr es hier
wanna
mit
take
beiden
this out of the
Mädels?
shuttle and throw it on the
Oder
bench?
nur eine? Und welche
Real
davon?
hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double check our work.
Wie gesagt, schreibt in den Chat, ich gucke da gleich mal rein.
We'll know it.
Let's
Ja,
try
das
to the
sieht immer
shuttle's
sehr,
log.
sehr gut aus, ne?
Running
So,
now.
das sieht schön. So toll. Fühlt sich halt echt so wie so ein Raum von der Enterprise D oder E halt, ne?
Same.
Das ist
Warp
richtig
field
gut.
inversion and the cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer
Also
get a
dieses
matching
typische
result?
Maschinenraumdesign, wie man
What
von
if
der
the subspace
Galaxy-Klasse
variance was a
kennt,
momentary
ne?
occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But
Aber auch die
subspace anomaly
Enterprise
strong
E,
enough
die
to
hat
cause
ja
a
auch
warp
die
field
auf
collapse
der
would
Brücke
leave
auch die
graviton
vielen
ripples for
Holztöne
days.
und so, ne? Aber der Tisch hier
Let's
erinnert
run
mich
with the
stark an
momentary subspace variance
Next
theory for now.
Generation.
Roll forward to the shuttle's
Maschinenraum.
attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Und jetzt gucke ich noch mal gerade zu euch in den Chat und hole mir noch mal ein Stäbchen. Hi Suboptimal. Hi Chefschweißer. Hi Fetisch. Buddy Pimax hat heute den Shake-Mode. Okay. Muss ich mal gucken. Was gemeint ist. Check auf Phaser auf Betäubung. Ja, das ist hier der Diaz, ne? Der Diaz, der ist mit dem Phaser hart unterwegs. So, und dann geht auch mal für euch hier, die dazugekommen sind. Die Hand hoch und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß. Lippet lang und erfolgreich willkommen im Buddies VR Lounge und das Seven Commander. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Freue mich riesig. Ja. Echt schön. Das ist so ein schönes Star Trek Spiel. Echt toll, da den VR zocken zu können. Ja, die wundert mich. Der ist drüber, dass ich ihn widersetzte, wurde noch verstärkt durch die unterbrochene rebellische Einstellung und ihren sturen Widerstand gegen seine Führung. Hinterfragt seine Wahl für den ersten Offizier. Lassen noch hinterfragen. Spock wurde bemerkte während der Missionsverständnis scharfen Verstand und ihr einziger Dynamik des Konfliktes zwischen den Otarien, den Allianern. Botschaft des Volkes möchte auch Jaras positive Einstellung, als diese von ihrer inoffiziellen Mission erfuhr. Sehr gut. So, ja, die anderen. Klar. Das ist doch nice. Also wollen wir Stäbchen anmachen. Und einen Schluck trinken. Wo habe ich das hin? Da habe ich das stehen. So. Und zu euch in den Chat gucken. Und dann geht's weiter. Kurze Werbeunterbrechung. Ach ne, ist ein Livestream. Ja. Dein Kopf wackelt, Wackelbuddy, wie mein Kopf wackelt. Ich bewege den manchmal, ne? Also ich bewege meinen Kopf. Ist ein stehendes Bild. Ja, das ist halt VR, ne? Man bewegt seinen Kopf. So, das sieht doch ziemlich ruhig aus. Guck jetzt nochmal im OBS nach. Beim Stream. Ja, ganz normal. Gut. Dann machen wir weiter. War jetzt nochmal die Reihenfolge Chat und dann Spiel. Wo ist Spiel hin? Hier ist Spiel, ne? Ja. Gut, machen wir weiter, würde ich sagen. So.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Ich mache mal die
The
Auflösung ein bisschen
Resolute into
höher.
the simulation and
Ein bisschen höher geht doch immer. So.
deck of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should work just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 0.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapse.
Das sieht jetzt so gut aus. Ehrlich. Kommt gar nicht mehr aus dem Grinsen raus.
Whatto?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship.
Ja,
Whatever
das
happened to the
musste er
shuttle
da.
just happened to us.
Ne, der klitscht nicht wirklich in den
The
Tisch.
Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
Ja, so sieht's aus. Die Schiffe, Hotari. Das sieht richtig gut aus. Toll. Schön. Da ist die Delegation. Da sind wir schon. Hallo. Wir wollten bis ihr über der Friede babbeln.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari. We are honored you've come. My name is Tylos Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
Sieht gut aus.
The honor is ours, and this is Commander Jara Rydek, First Officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illydians.
Hier ist sehr
We're honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation, the reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Sidron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Die Helden. Die sehen ja schon mal direkt sehr sympathisch aus.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
I think we're about to begin.
Okay.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy? I don't know what we're walking into here, but that guy was something.
Something about his tone tells me this won't be easy.
That was my sense as well.
I doubt he speaks for all of Hotari, so I would urge patience until we speak with their queen.
Schön. Gefällt mir. Mit dem Botschafter Spock haben wir ja schon einen vernünftigen Diplomaten. Da können wir uns jetzt gar nicht beschweren.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Holtari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Holtari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Elydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
Die Stufe.
For now.
Saying this wouldn't be easy was an understatement. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not
She can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Oh ja, die geht dann auch gerade. Ah, das sieht doch schon besser aus im Gang. Noch ein bisschen ordentlicher hinstellen.
Now then, one should know their place. What you might be somewhere else is not what you are here. Which is standing before a queen. And a queen deserves respect. A bow is not too much to ask. Is Holtari Prime, heart of the Holtari system?
My name is Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty. I prefer to be called by my name, not my species.
Then I suppose that makes us even. Commander Rydek. You are Kobliad. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable. Not unlike how we have been treated by the Elydians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Holtari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elydians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydek. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but it's really not my place to say what the Federation's interests might be.
You are their representative.
I am. But Ambassador Spock is better suited to address your concerns.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without a Lydian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered. All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Lydians? Can only be one or the other, not both.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said! How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
Then you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
Die sieht auch richtig gut aus.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again, Jara Rydek.
Da war doch ein guter Auftritt, ne?
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
Wie die Arme, ey. So, jetzt wird es besser. So, dann gucken wir mal nach, weil ich dachte, dass er sich unter Druck gut geschlagen hat, als sie von der Hotari-König ausgefragt wurde. Ja, sehr nice. Dachte, er sei so gut wie zu erwarten mit einer komplexen Situation umgegangen, als die Königin sie in eine Gelegenheit brachte. Ja, gut, okay. Gut wie zu erwarten. Kann man jetzt erstmal eine ganze Weile nicht mehr vor, die auch nicht. Ja. Dann gucke ich schon mal zu euch in den Chat rein. Ah, schon geil. Was? Schreibt der Tom da? Was? Alter, doch nicht geliked hat, gibt's doch nicht. Like ist raus. Dankeschön. Ja, genau, die Fliesen scheinen. Ja. Und da auch, sogar schöne Fliesen. Ist das so schlimm am Wackeln? Ich mal gerade mal schauen. Ähm. Schau nachher mal in den Stream. Ja, warte mal. Mach ich jetzt mal. Also bei mir wackelt da nichts. Das könnte an dem Injektor-Mod liegen. Deswegen, klar, bewege ich meinen Kopf. Kennt ihr ja. Aber wenn das jetzt so extrem wackelt, das Bild, dann liegt das an dem Stream. Bei mir unter der Brille läuft alles gut. Ich kann das nicht ausschließen, aber meine Kopfbewegungen sind teilweise, naja, das sieht schon eher so aus, als hätte das was jetzt mit dem Mods und dem Spiel zu tun. Aber mir läuft es super. Kann mich nicht beklagen. Danke für den Hinweis auf jeden Fall. Ja, aber wüsste ich jetzt auch nicht, was ich da jetzt ändern könnte. Wo ist meine Brille hin? Mist, da liegt sie. Ja, alles gut. Danke dir. Danke nochmal. Hoffen wir, im Sound passt das auch. Weil ich die Kopfhörer irgendwie heute nicht dran gedacht habe. Die Beschallung aus den Bügeln der Pro, die ich gerade trage. Da ist das Spiel. Bisschen wackelt, ist aber okay, ja super. Ja, das sah jetzt im Stream auch so aus, als würde da wackeln, wo ich jetzt meinen Kopf nicht bewege.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Elidians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
The Hotari have suffered enough at the hands of the Elidians.
I couldn't agree more.
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Elidians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Elidians could even realize their worst nightmares upon them.
I'm curious why the Elidians haven't fought back. They have the ability to retake the mines anytime they want.
Ability is one thing. Courage is another. The Elidians know any hostile action on their part will not end well. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Elidians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
I wouldn't say state-of-the-art, but the Resolute is plenty capable and can hold its own against just about anything.
Let's hope so. Because at the moment, it's the only thing preventing them from wiping us off the map.
Sidron.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Gehe ich auch von aus. Mal mit beiden, ne? Auf jeden Fall mal jetzt erstmal hier mit denen.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but
These negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality, as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Elydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. But clearly, you weren't aware.
We are and will remain completely neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution to this conflict.
As is ours. Of course, the question is, at what price? Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Elydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Isn't it?
I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least, that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
Something tells me there's more to the story. So what really happened?
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
You said the Hotari were primitive.
Well, they are.
Except for the part about weaponizing ion storms.
If you'll excuse me, Commander Rydek.
Commander, if I could have a quick word with you.
Of course.
I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
The Elydians have no right to your land.
Ach, mich
It was
verklickt.
clear which side was more deserving of our recognition.
It's so different to have someone on our side. These are unusual times, to say the least. Much is changing. I saw you speaking with the Elydian. I'm sure they're painting themselves as the victims.
The Elydians are under the impression the Hotari are somehow the cause of the ion storm.
Which I'm sure they attribute to our lack of experience or sheer inferiority. But we are as much the victims of this horrific storm as they are. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now, they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I get the sense you don't exactly trust them.
They're miners, not diplomats. I don't trust their instincts, which are leading us to war. My fear has been that the Elydians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Do you think it has something to do with the ion storm? Right now, it's stronger than ever, isn't it?
It's entirely possible. I'm not a scientist, but I do know the storm has knocked out all kinds of systems. So maybe the Elydians weren't willing to risk their ships, given all the interference. Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines.
Aha, ohne Minen was gefunden, oder passt
Everyone
alles?
pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
What do you think it is?
I've heard rumors it's some sort of ancient artifact, but I haven't seen it myself.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you. I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Ja, gutes Gespräch. Fand ich auch. Okay. Laufen, ja.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Elydians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Wurde jetzt nochmal gezeigt. Interessant.
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
Ja. Kein Warpfeld.
It is evident that presently the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself? You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
The storm didn't stop us from leaving space dock and traveling here. But could it still be causing this interference with warp travel?
We must follow sound investigatory principles. Do not let an assumed conclusion drive your analysis.
Sometimes we need a little inspired thinking, Mr. Chovak. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clear picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
Aber schön, ne, dass die einzelnen Kapitel dann auch so Episodennamen haben. Schön.
I'm setting up a waypoint at a distance roughly corresponding to the edge of our warp field. When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Er macht das. Benutze, um vorwärts zu fliegen, benutze. Okay. Halte deinen Kurs bei. Okay. Okay. 2 weiß noch. Druiden hin. Ist ja wirklich hoch und runter, Alter. Runter.
Westbrook, the Resolute systems are calibrated to receive the probe's readings.
Yeah.
We're standing by to reproduce the warp field collapse after the first probe is deployed.
Thank you, Mr. Chovak. We'll be in position shortly.
And, Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft. Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joyriding.
Chovak probably isn't such a fun guy to work for, huh?
Nah, Lieutenant Commander Chovak's not so bad. You know, once you get used to him. And, I've learned a lot working under him.
I have a feeling I'm going to have to work harder to be a political animal like you, with this new first officer coming aboard.
Bisschen in die Steuerung mal reinfinden, ne? Gar nicht so leicht. Jetzt kommen wir zum Wegepunkt.
This is far enough. Transporting the first probe into position.
Drop a probe.
Westbrook here. The first probe is deployed.
Understood. We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
Der Konflikt weiter. Noch andere Proben, oder?
I just can't get a handle on her.
So
Jara
andere Sachen.
She rejected my plan to use a deflector pulse against the storm surge. But on the other, she did listen to my advice and use the whole polarity trick to get you through that excursion alive. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the new XO. I'm sure she's a fine officer, even if we don't see eye to eye. But she didn't go through what the rest of us did. You know that. And it's hard to figure out why she'd be the one Solano chose instead of, well, one of us.
I've heard some good things. You should at least give her a chance.
I'll take that under advisement.
Test is running. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, mark.
Whoa.
Faszinierend.
All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get another probe out there. With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there. Listen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice I wish someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. And don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydek showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap. I mean, if he'd said that about Chovak, sure.
I appreciate the advice, Commander. I'll make sure I keep my options open.
I don't need to tell you how to operate. You're already well on your way. You're a capable engineer. You're good in the field. Keep up the good work, and who knows? A solid jack of all departments like you could be Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet one day. Hell, Admiral Jellicoe started as a shuttle pilot. And there are places to go in the enlisted ranks, too.
I love it. So put me up for promotion. I'm ready for my next challenge.
Well, I think you're going to have to prove that to your boss, Chovak, first. He's the one who has to put you up for consideration. If I were first officer, it would be different.
Well, then I'll just have to change Commander Chovak's mind. I'll work hard and better, and he won't be able to ignore it.
You've got grit. I'll give you that.
Ja, sehe ich. Ey.
Here.
So, geschafft.
This is close enough. Stop the engines. Deploying the probe.
Hi, KitKat. Hi, Fetisch. Dann geht nochmal für euch hier die Hand hoch und spreizt die... Warte mal. Und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß. Lippet lang, erfolgreich. Willkommen im Buddies VR Lounge und das 7 Commander. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Freue mich riesig. Guck mal, der schreibt. Ja, wird hart gezockt. Genau. Digga, Chefschweißer, spiel mit der Quest Pro, ne? Also ich gehe davon aus, das hat was mit den, bei der Übertragung was mit dem Unreal Engine VR Injector Mod zu tun hat, wenn er da wackelt. Oculus hat ja, wie auch Steam, extra noch so Funktionen, dass genau halt so eine Verwacklung des Bildes dann im Betrieb der Brillen dann noch reduziert wird. Und vielleicht wird das gerade über den Mod nicht angesteuert. Keine Ahnung. So. Zwinge ihn nicht zuschrauben. Auch nicht schlecht. Schreibt ihr noch? Genau. Wie gesagt, spiel mit der Quest Pro, Chefe.
Very good. Running the simulation again. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1. Mark.
There it is again.
I saw it. It seems to be directional.
Well, what about the scans? Anything?
Here's the readings in relation to our local space. We've got the Resolute, Atari Prime, and the probes.
All this interference is overloading the sensor buffers. We're gonna have to triangulate the sensors manually.
Da, triangulieren. Ich darf triangulieren. Was drücken? Aha.
We got something.
These markers indicate peaks in the gravimetric interference patterns.
Let's see if I can find some more.
Da.
Hold up. This is coming from the moon.
A beam that blocks warp travel.
Aimed right at us.
Someone is doing this intentionally. I don't know how they're doing it. This is like nothing I've ever seen.
Why would they be doing this? We came here to help these people. And now we're getting hit by some warp-killing weapon?
Now, look here. It's current readings of the ion storm.
These concentrations, they line up with the interference pattern. The storm and this beam, they're coming from the same place.
Carter, whatever petty local conflict brought us here, it's just a small part of something much bigger.
Sieht's aus. Das sieht echt gut aus. Also die Charaktermodelle. Oder so aus der Nahperspektive.
Presently, we don't have an explanation for how they're doing this. But one thing is clear. This is no fluke.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. I want a full briefing when I'm back on board. Solano out. A targeted weapon that inhibits warp travel. Coming from the moon Tau.
That would explain the difficulties my shuttle encountered. More importantly, the tenor of the Hotari during the negotiations.
And here I thought the Elydians would be the problem. Coming to peace talks in a warship. This wasn't supposed to be so complicated.
We're right to be worried. If they're targeting the Resolute and we can't go to warp, that effectively leaves us at their mercy.
Which puts us in a rather difficult position.
Especially if they have more tricks up their sleeve.
Tylus, the Hotari representative, said she thought they found something in the mines. Galvin and Sidron brought it back to the palace, but they're keeping it under tight security. She's going to investigate it. I gave her my tricorder. I expect she'll contact us soon.
You found an ally.
Why would Tylus help us? Go behind her people's back? It's a fair question, considering.
Out of all of them, she's the one who seemed to genuinely appreciate that the Federation was involved. She believes in us, and I think we can believe in her.
That may be true.
She's certainly more likely to help than the other Hotari we've met.
That raises another question. Specifically, what do the other Hotari have to gain in bringing us here, only to make this hostile maneuver against us? There must be some motivation.
Unless they changed their minds between when they asked and when we got here.
Sidron was very curious when we spoke outside the Queen's chamber. He wanted to know all about us, our ship, the Federation. He wasn't giving any answers. He was looking for them.
Well, I'm sure you didn't tell him too much. I don't think the Elydians know what's really down on that moon either.
Major Armintas said the revolt defied explanation. That the Hotari miners somehow harnessed the energy of the storm.
Harnessed the energy of the storm?
Doing that is beyond even our capabilities.
So is a weapon that disrupts warp travel.
There have been civilizations and entities, both past and present, far more technologically advanced than the Federation.
The Elydians and Hotari don't fall into that category.
But that is all the more reason to investigate further.
Ja, ist schon geil.
Sorry to interrupt. We've received an urgent call from Hotari. The Queen's advisor, Tylus, has asked to speak with you.
Put her through.
Also man muss schon sagen, man ist halt mitten in der Star Trek Serie drin, ne?
Galvin and Sidron are still with the Queen. I've enlisted help to gain access to the room they have under guard. I don't have much time.
I'm not supposed to leave my post.
It's only for a moment. I so appreciate your help.
I found something. I'm sending you a scan.
Got it. Tylus, if we needed to gain access to the mines on Tau, is that something you could help us with?
I suppose it wouldn't be easy, but I have to go.
Tylus.
Can we reconnect?
Sorry, Captain. We've lost all contact.
We can only hope she escaped without harm.
It was hard to tell.
We have to help her. Send another shuttle.
We're not doing anything yet. Not until we know more. Let's see the scan of whatever the hell that was.
War nicht so gut.
Tylus suspects this came from the mines on Tau.
It appears to be of ancient origin, but the markings are unfamiliar.
We can run a full analysis when we get back to the Resolute. But if this came from the mines, then it might be the key to how they got the upper hand against the Elydians.
Then we have to go into the mines.
The Federation would not allow that. We were, after all, sent here to be a neutral party in a peace negotiation. However, we could demonstrate that the Hotari have acted in bad faith, which would enable us to investigate the mines on Tau with full justification. But of course, we would need conclusive proof before taking action. Otherwise, it could put us in a difficult position.
Whatever this artifact is may be proof enough. At least to satisfy the Federation.
Especially if we can show the Hotari are controlling the warp disruption. And targeting the Resolute.
We may have a better understanding once we analyze the device. But a mission to the mines, covert or otherwise, is not out of the question. And I will handle the Federation.
Sehr gut. So, ich glaube, das war jetzt nicht so wie viel ist das. Ah, okay, gefiedelt sogar, okay. Nice, schön. Ah, okay, da ist nichts.
As I was telling Carter, I want all the data I can get on this warp problem. And the negotiating team's shuttle has been recording data all the way back from Hotari. Even better than our probes. So pull the sensor and engine ISOs from the Melville when it sets down.
Will do.
I'll join you and Chovak down in engineering to run another analysis after the briefing.
I didn't like this warp problem when we thought it was some astronomical anomaly. And I like it a hell of a lot less now that we know someone is doing it to us. How does it work? What do we even do about it?
What do you say we pull these chips and find out?
Took some damage on the way. That ionic interference scored the hull plating. Might be some micro welds. Let's try pulling together.
All right.
3, 2, 1. It won't budge. Gotta be the storm damage. We need to... Welcome back. Any excitement down on the surface?
Excitement? No. Nothing like that.
Hey, can you hand me the EJ7 interlock? From the toolbox.
I don't know what that is.
Not much use for one on a security detail, huh? Carter?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Ist er doch, oder?
Okay, I'll apply pressure while you decouple the panel.
Here, I'll help.
Also schon wehrt schon ab, ja. Tonspur zu früh.
We've got this.
Open up and say ah.
Thanks for the hand. We have to get these isolinear chips down to engineering.
No problem. You really know everything about these ships, don't you? The tools, the systems. Like a walking Starfleet technical manual.
Well, I wouldn't say everything, but I know my stuff.
I can see that.
Come on, start pulling chips.
Oh, jetzt? Ja. Ganz toll. Alle rausnehmen. Ah, Depp.
What's this?
Aha.
Some kind of crystal formation?
Whoa. This substance
Cool, das
is
ist cool.
quanti-spin crystallization of hydrogen, carbon, and lithium. It's emitting tetrametric pulses at an interval of 3.8422 seconds.
Quantized crystallization isn't natural. I mean, it's
Das ist
only
echt eine schöne
theoretical as a
Drill,
means
muss
to
man echt mal
engineer matter
sagen.
on a subatomic level. What's it doing in there?
Wait. Regulation 364, subsection 9.
What?
Regulation 364, subsection 9 orders that in the case of an unknown foreign substance infiltrating a sealed system, it will be placed in secure confinement before further examination. Retrieve a containment module.
Don't you think we're more equipped to deal with whatever this is?
No. Before anything else, this is a security issue. You don't even know what this is.
Which is why we need to study it.
Once it's contained.
Well, if it's not natural, then someone might have put it there. It could be a tracking device, some kind of sabotage, or even a bomb.
Which is why we need to get it to the containment lab.
Come on.
I can't make an exception. Not even for you.
I'm still going to report these crystals to Commander Westbrook when we send the shuttle data.
And I will inform my superiors. I'm taking this just as seriously as you are.
Ich glaube, das wird schwierig, mit beiden Frauen was anzufangen. Irgendwie sind die sich nicht grün.
Maybe this situation is more than we can handle with just a science vessel. We could trigger a distress call, get Starfleet to send more ships. Or I could send a message to my old CO on the Adirondack. Get some combat-tested vessels. We shouldn't do this alone.
We're at the edge of the quadrant. Help isn't just gonna pop over like we're in Sector 001.
Wouldn't hurt to try.
You talk like you've never had your backs up against a wall before. This is Starfleet. We solve our own problems.
So, das hat ein Dämmungsmodul.
Okay, stand back.
Ja gut,
Get this to the containment lab.
wenn jetzt eine Bombe wäre
We'll
mit
get it set up for you.
einem Auslöser, der beim Beamen aktiviert wird, dann hast du auch ein Problem, ne?
Last thing you want is to study this down in main engineering and have it explode next to the warp core. Almost forgot.
Can't have that.
Das war nett.
For a second, I thought she'd gone cold on you. Like she might have changed her mind. But I guess this whole situation has her spooked. Maybe she knows more than us? Or it's because this is all happening so fast? But she usually doesn't scare easy.
Well, of course she's taking it seriously, but that's her job. When she's on duty, she's got to be on the lookout for danger.
Yeah, but talking about sending a distress call on her own? That's going too far. She was probably just thinking out loud. I'm sure she'll come to her senses. This mission has enough complications stacking up.
Now, we'll get through it. You, me, and Miranda too.
Genau. Mag seine Einstellung.
Commander Rydek was able to work behind the...
Was sagt ihr dazu? Wollen wir hier ein Beispiel mal nachlesen. Tsubunabi daddelt und Repu 1980 sind ebenfalls mit dabei. Und da geht nochmal für alle hier die Hand hoch und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß, lebt lang und erfolgreich. Willkommen im Buddies VR Lounge und des Seven Commanders. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Freue mich riesig. So, jetzt muss ich mal gucken. Ihr habt echt viel geschrieben. So, freut mich natürlich sehr. Aber da muss ich jetzt mal hochscrollen. Ist okay. Danke, Chefe. Arizona 2 und Into the Radius mit der Pimax Crystal getestet. Man sieht das nice aus. Ja, die Pimax Crystal ist halt echt schön, ne? Linsen bestellt, ja. Du hast jetzt die Crystal da. Wusste ich nicht, Zubu. Ja, sieht doch Hammer aus. Er geht so, ne? Ist halt wie Quest 1 im Gesicht, was das Gewicht angeht. Ja, ist auch ein gutes Bild. Definitiv, Primax Crystal hat ein sehr, sehr schönes Bild. Nee, also Minigolf würde ich auch nicht damit zocken. Was? Krass. 33 FPS mit der Virtual Einstellung? Ja, Demas. Seit gestern. Glückwunsch. Schönes AMD, Zubu. Zubu Nabi daddelt jetzt mit Primax Crystal on the road.
During the negotiations, I made contact with a representative from the Hotari delegation named Tylas. She mentioned an unusual artifact of unknown origin.
Fun Fact, Primax Crystal, also die Leute von Crystal, mit denen ich in Kontakt stehe, die weisen mich immer darauf hin, dass ich natürlich auch Refill-Links und sowas unter den Streams und Videos, die ich mit der gemacht habe, doch setzen kann. Ne? Warum ich das nicht mache? Keine Ahnung.
Being held under tight security within the Hotari palace, which she believes came from the mines on Tau. Now, this artifact might have a connection to the revolt, to the storm, and to the warp disruption we now know has been targeted at the Resolute. Commander Rydek, if you want to take it from here.
Of course. Tylas managed to infiltrate the heavily guarded location within the palace and sent us these scans using my tricorder. It appears to be some sort of control panel, possibly connected to the warp disruption weapon originating on Tau. Of particular interest is this symbol, which we couldn't identify the origin of.
The Federation database has records from a vast number of civilizations. If anyone from Starfleet has come across this before, the system should recognize it.
Cross-referencing with Federation records.
Displaying symbols from Federation database with a 90% probability of match or higher. Select a symbol to further analyze.
Puh. Den noch am nächsten kommen, finde ich. Wirkt ein bisschen wie gespiegelt jetzt. Okay, cool. Erstmal vergleichen, nett. Schön wäre, wenn die aus der Auswahl dann rausfliegen würden, ne? Klingonisch würde das nicht sein. Guck mal nach und dann sagen sie nicht Klingonen. Weil ich ja kaputt lachen. Ich mich ja kaputt lachen, ja. Sie nehmen nicht die Klingonen, war mir klar. So. Sieht ja gar nicht so aus wie das. Jetzt einfach mal die runter. Das sieht ja auch sehr annähernd so aus, ne? Könnte fast sein. Ja, bestimmt. Da. Könnte sogar sein. Ja, da haben wir einen Treffer.
99.2% match.
Got it.
So, what are we looking at?
The design and composition indicate this is a glyph associated with the ancient Tkon Empire. Their civilization collapsed over 600,000 years ago, but once spanned millions of systems with a population numbering in the trillions.
Fascinating. The Tkon were once the most advanced, most powerful civilization in the galaxy.
Is it possible the Hotari found Tkon technology?
I wonder if they even know what they have.
Our knowledge of the Tkon is limited. I have only encountered passing references to them.
Actually,
Ja, ich habe auch schon mal von den Tkon gehört, genau.
You have?
Quite impressive, Commander.
Computer, summarize the Enterprise D's discovery of a Tkon outpost.
On stardate 41386.4, the USS Enterprise D, under the command of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, discovered a Tkon outpost in the Delphi-Ardu system. According to the mission summary, an unbreakable energy-draining field was deployed against the Enterprise and a Ferengi ship. The Enterprise was only able to escape after negotiating their release with an entity known as Portal 6-3, Guardian of the Tkon Empire.
Unbreakable energy draining field. It starts to make sense.
What else is there?
There's a lot here. Let's take it piece by piece.
Select the aspect you wish to learn more about.
Someone from the Tkon Empire is actually still around.
Or at least was, 16 years ago.
Computer, what other information do you have on Portal 6-3, Guardian of the Tkon Empire?
The entity known as Portal 6-3 is of an unknown nature. A biped humanoid, he was unaware that the Tkon Empire no longer existed at the time of the encounter. He was able to control the crystal-based technology of the Tkon outpost through apparent telepathic means. It was by his choice that the Enterprise was released from the energy draining field after Commander William T. Riker of the Away team argued on behalf of both Starfleet and the Ferengi.
Telepathic control of their technology.
As I have said, they were the most advanced civilization in the galaxy.
What sort of planet is Delphi-Ardu 4?
Delphi-Ardu 4 is an M-class planet, a barren rocky world with little to no vegetation and frequent ion storms. The giant crystals that grow there absorb energy, but it is not understood how they do so. The entire Delphi-Ardu system, consisting of 11 planets, was considered completely uninhabited until the encounter with Portal 6-3.
Frequent ion storms. That can't just be a coincidence. The technology to capture and hold the Federation flagship would have to be unbelievably powerful. Computer, what else can you tell us about the energy-draining field the Tkon used?
The Enterprise D was unable to break free on its own. The precise nature of the technology was never fully understood. Only that the crystalline technology used was beyond the comprehension of then-current Starfleet science.
The engineering team found a quantized spin crystal formation in the shuttle you took to Hotari. They registered tetrametric radiation coming from it.
We have Takan technology on board right now?
We might. I'll run a full analysis in the containment lab.
Gut, weiter. Bleiben noch die Ferengis.
There appears to be some sort of restriction order from Starfleet. Computer, explain this restriction.
A Starfleet directive similar to General Order 7 forbids entering the Delphi Ardu system or attempting to make contact with Portal 6-3.
Starfleet doesn't throw up a no trespassing sign for just anybody.
I suppose it makes sense considering what happened to the Enterprise D.
The Elydians should have crushed the revolt. But if the Hotari have Takan technology and can control it, I see why they're willing to negotiate peace. For all we know, this could be just the beginning. And we're up against something greater than we can imagine.
There's only one way to find out. We need to see what's down there for ourselves.
I might be able to help with that. We've been able to triangulate the source of the ionic interference and warp disruption to a specific mine on Tau. Engineering used the latest data from your shuttle to pinpoint its origin. There.
So we know where to look.
Commander Rydek's right. We need to know what's down there, what the Hotari are hiding, to better understand what we're up against, and to neutralize it if we can.
Captain, embarking on a mission to the Hotari moon would not be viewed favorably by either side. However, given the circumstances, we are entirely within our rights to defend ourselves.
I just want to make sure this doesn't blow up in our faces. Which is why I'm thinking of sending Commander Rydek on a covert mission to Tau. Assuming you're up to the task. It would require absolute secrecy. And obviously, it's not without risk.
I'll get the away team in and out. They're in safe hands with me.
Under normal circumstances, that would be the case. But given the sensitive nature of this incursion, I'm afraid you'll have to go it alone. I'm hoping Tylus can accompany you. The priority is to avoid detection. It's a calculated risk. The last thing we need is to get caught and then blamed for violating our neutrality and aggravating an already tense situation. We can't afford any mistakes, which is why I've chosen you.
Tylus will be essential to my success. Not only her knowledge of the mines, but her ability to gain access, particularly now that we know which mine we need to get into.
Make sure she understands the need to keep this covert.
She's not going to want her people to know about this.
Get in touch with Tylus and make the necessary arrangements as discreetly as possible.
Bridge to Captain Solano. The Elydians have moved additional ships to the edge of the Hotari system. Current heading is straight for the homeworld.
Understood.
It would seem we no longer have the luxury of waiting. In that case, may I suggest you and I return to Hotari Prime? Doing so will provide Commander Rydek as much time as possible to complete her mission.
Agreed. We'll hail the Queen's delegation from my ready room. We all know what we need to do. Dismissed.
Sehr geil. Schöne Story, muss man sagen. Tolles Storytelling. Gefällt mir. Ist richtig schön Star Trek-like. Wie man das mag als Trekkie. Richtig cool. Aber ich glaube, jetzt sind wir schon eine Weile dran. Hi Peter! Warte mal. Erstmal kurz Pause, bevor ich hier euch über die Dialoge rede. Da ist auch noch so Shiro ebenfalls. Kurzen Däumchen da gelassen. Ja genau, bin auch auf den Eindruck von Tsubunabi gespannt zu Crystal. Und da geht auch vielen so Shiro und Peter Netten die Hand hoch und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß. Lippet lang erfolgreich. Willkommen, Buddies, we are und schon das Seven Commander. Schön, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Freue mich riesig. Jetzt guck ich mal, wie lange wir schon dabei sind. 1 Stunde 44. Ja, dann machen wir jetzt noch ein bisschen, so 15 Minuten. Circa. Und kommen wir langsam zum Ende des heutigen Streams.
That you found in the shuttle. I have tasked Ensign Calloway with performing a full analysis of the tetrametric pulses.
Security brought it to the containment lab.
I was just there. They don't know anything about it. Security never checked it in.
Miranda never got there?
She's the one that had the crystal formation?
Diaz, Tamaris. Carter Diaz to Miranda Maris.
Commander Westbrook to Petty Officer Miranda Maris. Respond.
Something's not right.
She's still on the ship. She has to be.
Computer, locate Petty Officer Miranda Maris.
Petty Officer Miranda Maris is in the isolinear storage array on Deck 5.
I'll go find her.
Good.
I am sure Mr. Diaz can attend to this on his own.
Auch wie gesagt ein bisschen komisch. Und jetzt fahren wir hin.
Someone improperly pulled these isolinear chips.
Was war hier? Oh, nix. Ah ja, mein Kopf muss hier hin.
What the?
Oh, it's just you. I'm busy right now. Why don't you come back later?
I called you on the comm badge. Twice. Commander Westbrook, too. Why didn't you answer?
Oh, I guess I was just caught up in my work. But I'm through here, so I can't stay and chat. I have other things to do. Sorry you came all this way for nothing.
What exactly were you doing in here? I saw you accessing files, copying them onto that.
This is secure data. It's really not my place to talk about it. Look, I appreciate that you came to check on me, but I'm fine. You worry too much. We're on a starship. Nothing's gonna happen to me here.
It's not the only reason I'm here. That crystal formation you took never made it to the containment lab. Westbrook sent me to find you, to find out what happened.
Will you drop it? I don't like being interrogated, Carter.
Hey, wait up!
I'm getting some very mixed signals from you right now. I'm sorry. I'm under a lot of stress right now. Just tell Chovak or whoever I don't know where the crystals are, and let me go about my business. I know we have some things to figure out. I don't have time to stand around and debate with you. Not right now.
I want to help you, but you're not making it easy.
Then I'll try to make it simple. You don't have to say anything at all.
Miranda, hold on.
No. Get out of my way.
Get out of my way. So aus.
So I see you found each other.
You were taking so long, the commander sent us to see what the problem was. Diaz, you were sent here with specific orders, and fighting your crewmate wasn't one of them. What the hell is going on here?
Let's just let them explain.
I'd like to hear that, because I know what it looks like.
There's something seriously wrong with her. She's not herself, I'm telling you.
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Well, for one, she was copying data onto this.
This drive is unauthorized.
There are ISOs all over the floor.
And that's why I was in here, investigating this situation. And when Carter came looking for me, we got our wires crossed. It wasn't anything more than that.
Even if that was true, it still doesn't answer what happened to the crystal formation that she took. And she isn't helping.
I can't tell you what I don't know. I brought them where they belonged, and that's where I left them.
I don't know what's going on here, but I think we need to call it into security. She can explain herself in the brig.
Hold on a minute. We don't need to put this on anyone's permanent record. Carter said you're not yourself. If something's wrong with you, we should head to sickbay and the doc will fix you right up.
Yeah, I haven't felt right since I came back from Hotari. I think I should see the doctor.
You two know her? If you really think she's not well, we can take her to sickbay first. But what I know is this is a security breach, and we should treat it as such.
Please, just let me go see the doctor.
She did have a bumpy ride back on the shuttle. Come on, Carter. We should get her taken care of.
You better be sure about this.
Let's take her to sickbay. It's better than the brig, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Fine. Get checked out by medical. You two go with her. I'll put this back together.
So. Unter der Oberfläche. Ja, geil. Wollen wir sagen? Flor, wie lange sind wir schon dabei? Nochmal ein Blick auf die Uhr. 1:53. Komm, machen wir noch 7 Minuten. Machen wir den Chat mal wieder hier hin. Oder wieder was geschrieben hier. Die Zubohr nicht geliked, das gibt's doch nicht. Bambusleitung, ja, ärgerlich, Chef. Ja, gibt so tolle Unreal Engine Spiele, die man jetzt in VR zocken kann, schon geil. Das ist super, ja. Aber ich kann das hier echt jedem Trekkie empfehlen. Also als Trekkie hat man hier extrem viel Spaß. Das ist schon ein echt guter Track. VR, die Immersion ist großartig.
Rydek here.
This is Irma. Any trouble getting to the surface?
I'm really starting to miss transporters.
As long as this storm is around, you'd better learn to like shuttles. But if you can find the cause of the interference, we might be able to get back to transporting.
As if I needed another incentive. We both know there's a lot more than that riding on this.
Fair enough. You'll need to get in and out of the mine undetected, so I hope Minister Tylus can help in that regard.
So do I.
And to keep this covert, we'll refrain from contact unless absolutely necessary.
Understood. Rydek out.
Was war das? Raumschiff oder was? Aha, hier. Geht weiter. Ist hier? Na? Was konnte ich hier anwenden? Da.
The ionic interference is coming from underground. I should find a safer way down there.
Da ist sie. Na?
I saw your shuttle take off. Hopefully no one else did. It's good to see you. Even under these unfortunate circumstances.
When you called to give us a scan, it sounded like they caught you. I was worried you'd been hurt.
It was nothing I couldn't handle.
Lead the way. I'll fill you in on what we've learned about the situation.
Follow me.
Follow me. All VR players, can't you see? In VR.
The device Galvin and Sidron brought back from the mines is being used to control some sort of warp disruption weapon that has the Resolute trapped in Hotari space. According to our readings, the power source for that device is on this moon, at the specific coordinates I sent you.
That sounds impossible. But explains the rumors of the Hotari controlling the ionic storm.
We strongly suspect the device was created by an ancient empire known as the Takan.
The Takan?
Once the most powerful civilization in the galaxy. But they've been gone for over 600,000 years.
It's hard to believe there's something like that on Tau.
Which is why I need proof. If we find hard evidence that Galvin and his allies are hiding dangerous Takan technology, I can convince the Federation to let us intervene.
Understood. We're almost there.
That's the mine?
Prospect 614 North, Subdivision 20.
It's enormous.
Just one of the thousands across Tau. The pride of Hotari.
How do we get inside?
The structure that circles the mine has entry points for transporting equipment into the lower levels. They're guarded, but nothing I can't get past using my authority.
Well, that's good to hear.
As long as you can avoid being seen, I should be able to talk my way past any miner. And provide a little distraction for you in the process.
How do I avoid being seen?
You don't use the door.
Sehr cool.
How dare you! Don't you know who I am? I am Tylus Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
That's not...
The Queen would be furious to hear you tried to deny me entry.
The Queen? But I just...
You just what? Just now realize the trouble you've made for yourself? And who exactly do you think you're going to report this to? Because I'll be reporting it as well, to someone much further in the lab. You have no authority here. Do you understand who pays your wage? I can inform the Queen directly of this instance.
There's no
You'll
need
regret
for...
everything you've said here today. You should have opened the doors the second I appeared before you.
That's not the protocol. I didn't know
Each
you
second
were...
you delay my entry will be recorded, processed, and permanently marked on your record.
Okay. Let's get a look inside you.
Do you speak our tongue?
Minister, I have orders.
How should a fellow Hatari not understand this? You're digging your own grave. I've reached the end of my patience. Escort me to the maintenance bay.
I told you I can't just...
Now!
But fine.
A wise choice. Lead the way. Be quick.
Wegstecken kann ich den auch nicht. Was soll ich denn hier noch scannen? Da. Sehr gut. Beenden.
Full system access. Let's see if I can just... Bingo. Better hurry. Not sure how long she can keep him busy.
Guck mal gerade nochmal auf die Zeit. So. Und dann, Leute, würde ich mal sagen, wäre es das heute fürs heute gewesen. Genau. 2 Stunden Star Trek. Ist ja auch cool, ne? Sind jetzt die letzten Ereignisse ausgeschlagen hat. Also jetzt mal bei Carter. Sie war beleidigt durch seine Anschuldigung und mochte es nicht, dass sie zur Krankenstation geschickt wurde. Ja, und nächstes Mal dann halt direkt in die Zelle. Ja. Okay. Ja, nice. Ja, dann kann ich mich auch dran erinnern. So, Leute. Würde ich sagen, machen wir das nächste Mal mit... Also machen wir ein andermal mit Star Trek Resurgence weiter. Also mir gefällt es sehr gut, gerade in VR zu spielen, ne? Also only in VR. Sehr klar. Star Trek Feeling ist richtig nice. Ja, das Spiel hat so manchmal so Clipping-Fehler hier und da, manchmal stehen die Figuren etwa chap. Aber trotzdem, also das Star Trek Feeling ist richtig, richtig gut. Und in VR alles nochmal viel schöner. Ja, und jetzt weiß ich ja immer noch nicht, was der arme Carter mit den ganzen Frauen machen soll. Ja. Der arme Mann. Total überfordert. So. Was schreibt ihr noch so? Star Trek ist in VR schon sehr nice. Bin gespannt, wie es mit der Crystal aussieht. Ja. What? Brauche ich, um Steve VR zu schaden. Ja. Hi Klaus! Come with me, hell buddy. Natürlich. Und dann geht auch für den Klaus die Hand hoch und spreizt die Finger zum vulkanischen Gruß. Lippe lang und erfolgreich. Willkommen, Buddies. We are Launch Order 7 Commander. Schön, dass du hier mit dabei warst. Freue mich riesig, Klaus. Ja. Ja, Leute, dann wie gesagt, bin ich ja jetzt bald wieder in Aachen ab morgen früh. Und ja, deswegen, ne, wird's halt, denke ich, so Montag wieder einen Stream geben oder in der Zwischenzeit vielleicht dazwischen noch, also Montag Community Talk, wieder dann regulär, gehen wir wieder auf den Montag. Und ich denke aber vielleicht, dass ich nochmal aus Aachen mit einem kurzen, ja, VR-Agent Pausenstream nochmal online komme, ne? Also ich versuche, kann es natürlich nicht 100% versprechen, aber wenn es geht, wenn es klappt, dann mache ich Start. So, in dem Sinne, hat mich wieder sehr, sehr gefreut. Schade, dass die Figur jetzt hier in der Szenerie nicht vor einem bleibt, aber dann müsst ihr halt mit dem Hinterkopf jetzt leben. Ja, schön, dass ihr wieder mit dabei wart. Allen noch einen wunderschönen Abend, Leute. Wir sehen und hören uns. Haut rein, bis dann, ciao.